peace I give to you. In this world you'll surely find trials of many different kinds, but be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. For I have overcome this world. Be of good cheer.
The clip is from Petra, Be of Good Cheer. Welcome to Desiro's radio show. I'm your host, Desert, and this is the podcast edition. Last night I tried to take on the subject of narcissism live on Blog Talk Radio, and I had a little bit of difficulty keeping my thoughts straight and organizing what I was going to say. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on podcast, and this way I won't be so quick to be sidetracked because I think it's a very important subject and it does affect a lot of people. So I kind of lost track of where I left off last night before I had my callers call in. So I'll go make a run through of the 9 possible characteristics of somebody with NPD. A person with narcissistic personality disorder has a grandiose sense of self-importance, is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love, believes that he or she is special and unique, requires excessive admiration, has a sense of entitlement, is interpersonally exploitative, lacks empathy, is often envious of others or believes others are envious of him or her, and shows arrogance and haughty behaviors and attitudes. Now, last night I touched a little bit on narcissistic supply, and narcissistic supply is the need to have someone there to admire them, to constantly think they're wonderful. Usually it's the children, or it could be friends or acquaintances, or people they talk to on the internet on a regular basis. And this need is so great that they are constantly looking for the supply in case it's not available to them whenever they need it. The next thing is the narcissist rage, and this is where people notice that something's kind of off. This rage usually occurs if they're confronted with anything, and it could be something really small, like let's say you just tell a person, I really don't like the way you talked to me last night, or I don't like how you treated me last night, and they will take it as an attack on their character, because it's like, how dare you tell them how imperfect they are. They will not listen at all. And this is why it's so difficult, especially if someone grew up in this environment, because you never learn how to sit and talk, and any problems you had with them, if you're having problems with communication, you were never able to express it. It would somehow turn on you, it's your fault, it's because you did this and you did that, or you didn't do this or didn't do that. Now, there's a wonderful site that I have turned to a lot in recent years. It's called daughtersofnarcissisticmothers.com. Gosh, I can't say that word. This site is very in detail about everything, being raised in this environment, and this site is so full of information. And even if you're not a daughter and you're just trying to get information on the subject, on this personality, I would highly recommend it. So I'm going to get my notes and stuff from here, and also just from my personal experiences. Now, this subject is very complicated. It's got a lot of parts to it. Now that, I'm going to try to dive into it a little bit. But there's so many categories. I'm going to talk about mothers with NPD. And there are different categories when describing mothers with NPD. There's the engulfing mother, the ignoring mother, strings attached, gaslighting, forms of abuse, the golden child scapegoat. This one I understand. Now I'm going to touch a little bit on the golden child and the scapegoat, and I'll read from the site here. It says, it is very common for a narcissistic mother to have a golden child and scapegoat dynamic going on. In short, one child in the family is the golden child, and one or more is the scapegoat. The golden child is, as its name suggests, is the best, most wonderful, at least in the eyes of the mother. It seems to be the narcissistic, the mother's pick. It seems to be the mother picks the golden child to be an extension of herself, unto whom she projects all her supposed wonderfulness. The golden child can do nothing wrong. He or she is given the best of everything, even apartments or houses bought for them. Their most minor achievements are celebrated and held up for admiration. The scapegoat, on the other hand, also, as the name suggests, is the person whom all the ills of the family are projected. They can do no right. Their major achievements are dismissed. Any money spent on them is the bare minimum and is spent begrudgingly. Growing up, the scapegoat can understandably feel very jealous of the golden child. This, of course, leads to the friction between the child, which suits the narcissistic mother, to divide and conquer and all that. Lots of opportunities for the triangulation. Indeed, the golden child can be encouraged either overtly or tactfully by the narcissist, by the mother, to bully the scapegoat, which adds to the friction. Now, the reason why this is important, the divide and conquer, is so this way, let's say the scapegoat child stands up to the mother because she can't handle confrontation. You can't say anything negative to her, you can't disagree with her whatsoever. So to combat it, what they do is they get the other person to bully that person. How could you do that? How can you act like that? So she feeds off it. She's getting someone else to do the dirty work. This way, she still looks wonderful and her hands are clean. Now it goes over how the mother chooses the scapegoat child, and I will read a part of it. When deciding unconsciously what child will play each role, the mother weighs her options on a deep intuitive level. Which child is the most sensitive? Which child reminds her of a hated parent or an ex-spouse who stood up to her, or something within herself she cannot accept? Which one asks more of her? Which child expresses unhappiness more often? And which one is more vulnerable or more outspoken? In short, which child bothers her the most? This child will be made her scapegoat. The scapegoat will ultimately be made to carry the lion's share of the family's blame, shame, anger, rejection, so the rest could easily retain their patterns of dysfunction. The child will always and forever be the one who was not good enough. Even when she excels at something, indeed, especially when she excels, the child will endure more put-downs, sideway remarks, and behind-the-back betrayals than the rest of the family put together. This child will endure the wear and tear of the family's dysfunction in a way that will enable the others to continue looking good despite the family's toxicity. Because the mother cannot accept her fault, she spends her days trying to convince herself that everything she does is perfect. When her personality disorder causes distress within her family, and her children's issues begin to reflect this, the mother is forced to make a choice. She must either acknowledge that she is making a mistake that is affecting the children negatively, or she must try to convince herself and others that the problem is not coming from her but from another source. And the latter is the option the narcissist always selects. In her mind, by blaming another, she absolves herself from any wrongdoing, and she can continue to believe and strive to convince others that she is in fact perfect. But she must first find someone to blame. Enters the scapegoat. One of the reasons last night I was focusing on the survivors of this personality disorder, I had in mind the scapegoat. And I think of all the survivors, this is the one that takes on the brunt of everything negative of this person. And once you survive it and you're an adult, this constant treatment is abuse. Whether you're a daughter or son, it affects you for life. Many end up having problems with depression, or some go the other way and make very high achievements. They're perfectionists, or they're high, and no matter how much they achieve, they will never get the recognition. They can keep their house nice, they can show everything they're doing, and they never receive that recognition, ever. Now, what is dangerous about this is because of this treatment on the scapegoat goes through life allowing this treatment from everybody else. At work, at school, in their relationships. They lack the confidence one would get from a parent who is loving and standing by them and being there when they fall and lifting them back up. They've never had that. Okay, I will read a little bit more from the site. In a desperate attempt to reduce her mother's act of oppression, the scapegoat succumbs to the role of underachiever, troubled one, loser, black sheep, or troublemaker. This presents the mother with exactly what her mental illness is making her feel she must have: an external object upon which to place blame, so that she can continue to the reassuring fantasy that there was nothing wrong with herself or her family on the whole. Okay, at the end of this article it says, until the scapegoat is able to extricate herself from the lie that she is inherently bad, guilty, or wrong, she will struggle. She will attract the wrong people, she will fail to reach her potential, and she will be her own worst enemy. The degree to which she is able to realize that she is mistreated, not because she is inherently inferior, but because she is sending messages of vulnerability, is the degree to which she will determine the quality of her future. Now, it's not until the survivor actually is removed from the person, like moved out or started college, that they realize that something's wrong, and they start to research and try to dig and try to fix themselves. Now, in the next part of the podcast, I'll talk about the daughter's journey to recovery, the steps to take, and how they can help themselves and help their children, because you also got to watch out for your children, because once you grow up and you're out, they'll go after your grandchildren next. I mean, it's funny, but it's not, because you got to be careful. So this is I think this is a very informative and serious subject. Many people have been raised in this type of environment, and you hear the saying, black sheep and stuff. Well, chances are that there was somebody with this personality disorder in the home. One of the reasons why I really wanted to talk about this subject is because people with depression or suffer from mood disorders or depression, sometimes it's this. Sometimes this is the root of it all. Tomorrow I'll go through the recovery part, like I said, but I'm going to go to the site here, and there's like a Mother English Dictionary. This is kind of interesting. When she says I love you, what it means. It means I want to manipulate you. You're showing signs of breaking away. I want to suck you back in. I've heard people say this and it seems to get a good reaction. Or I command you to love me. Don't ever feel like you have to come see me for my birthday. Which means if you don't make the 650-mile pilgrimage to celebrate me, I promise I will do something to make you pay dearly. And then when they say, I never said that, it means, damned if I'm going to admit it. Or, yes, I said that, but it doesn't work in the conversation right now. Or, I know I said it, but it's so much fun to F with your head until you don't know what is true and you think you really are crazy. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's like a nice list. Here's one. I want to help you with your kids, which means I plan to interfere in the upbringing of your children by spoiling them, disciplining them differently from your way, and ignoring your decisions and wishes. I will not acknowledge your position and rights as a mother of these children. Okay, well, those are some of the things that are on there on the narcissistic Mother English Dictionary. So that's it for this podcast. My next part will be on the healing process of the survivor, or the daughter. I mean, I'm getting it from the mother-daughter side, but this can pertain to anybody who is in this situation. But I highly recommend it. Check it out. Read up on it. Thank you for joining me on the Des Rose Radio Podcast Edition. Until next time.